Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into, well, a really thought-provoking book. It's Yuval Noah Harari's latest, Nexus. A brief history of information networks from the Stone Age to AI.
Ah, yes, Harari. If you've read Sapiens or Homo Deus, you kind of know what to expect.
Exactly. Expect to have your perspective shifted. It's nonfiction, blends history, philosophy, tech,
Right. About 400 pages, give or take.
and it packs a punch.
Absolutely. And our mission today really is to get you up to speed fast on this key idea Harari presents. You know how these information networks have just profoundly shaped us, human evolution, society, leading right up to AI.
Right.
We want to pull out the core concepts, maybe some surprising bits, and crucially, what it all means for you.
Okay, so let's jump right in. With Nexus, what's the big idea, the central thesis Harari's putting forward that changes how we look at history?
Well, his core argument is pretty bold, actually. He says humans didn't rise to the top because we were the strongest or even necessarily the smartest, but because we became the most connected species. We just got really, really good at sharing, storing, organizing information, better than anything else on Earth, historically speaking.
Wow, okay. So connection, not strength, not just raw intelligence.
Exactly. It's a direct quote from him, essentially. Humans rose to dominance not because they were the strongest or smartest species, but because they became the most connected and could share, store, and organize information better than any other organism in Earth's history.
That really reframes things, doesn't it?
It does.
So history isn't just about, great leaders or big wars. It's the story of our information systems getting more and more complex.
That's the lens he uses, how we evolved our ability to connect.
Fascinating. So it's a journey through time then.
Precisely. How these networks popped up and just completely changed us one after the other.
Okay, let's take that journey. If connection is key, where does Harari start? What was the first network? The, Stone Age internet.
He calls it the speech network. This kicks off around 70,000 BCE, tied to the cognitive revolution.
Ah, when we started really talking.
Exactly. Complex language. Suddenly, Homo sapiens could share abstract ideas, talk about things that weren't right there in front of them.
Like gods or rules or...
Or tomorrow, yes. And this allowed for much larger, more flexible social groups than any other animal could manage. He has this great line, "Gossip created trust. Myths created nations."
Gossip created trust. I like that.
It's about building social bonds through shared information, even seemingly trivial stuff. And myths, these big shared stories, let us cooperate on a massive scale.
So that was Network 1.0, all oral.
All oral, built on stories, shared narratives. Think about it, that basic human need to connect and share stories, right back then it laid the groundwork for everything else, like the original viral content, yeah.
Actually. So, okay, information's flowing by word of mouth. What's the next massive leap? Must be writing, right?
Absolutely. Around 3000 BCE, give or take. Cuneiform in Mesopotamia, hieroglyphs in Egypt.
That changes everything.
Totally. Because now, for the first time, knowledge isn't just inside someone's head. It can be stored outside the brain.
On a tablet or a scroll.
Exactly. Information becomes more permanent, can travel across generations more reliably. This is what enabled large-scale administration.
Bureaucracies, tax systems, empires.
Precisely. You need records for that stuff. Writing allowed for centralized power like never before, but, and this is key, literacy wasn't widespread, not at all. It was controlled by elites, priests, scribes, rulers. So this network was powerful, but exclusive.
A network for the few. Okay, so if writing centralized power, let's jump forward. What happens when information starts getting out to more people? I'm thinking Gutenberg.
The print revolution, 15th century, yes, Gutenberg's press. This was another seismic shift.
How so? What did print unleash?
Mass communication. Suddenly you could reproduce texts quickly and cheaply. This leads eventually to mass literacy, and it had huge consequences. It helped shatter religious monopolies on truth, think the Protestant Reformation.
Right, Luther's theses being printed and spread everywhere.
Exactly. People could read the Bible for themselves, interpret it themselves. Scientific knowledge also spread much faster, and Harari talks about how it fostered new kinds of imagined communities.
Like nations.
Like nations, yeah. People reading the same news, the same books, even in different places, start to feel part of the same group. So the network starts shifting, Harari notes, from being exclusive, like writing was initially, towards being more inclusive. It opens the door for mass movements.
Okay, so print makes information widespread. Then what? We speed it up. Electronics.
You got it. The 20th century brings the electronic age. Radio first.
Which can be powerful. And dangerous.
Very much so. Harari points to Nazi Germany's use of radio for propaganda, beaming messages directly into people's homes, shaping opinion on an unprecedented scale.
Then television shaping mass culture even more visually.
Right. And then, of course, the internet, the digital network, which at first seemed like the ultimate democratization of information.
Seemed like it, yeah.
But Harari makes this crucial point. The gatekeepers changed again. It wasn't just priests or kings or even newspaper editors anymore.
It became corporations.
Algorithms. Exactly. Think about it. Google deciding what search results you see. Facebook or TikTok's algorithms deciding what goes viral. These are the new gatekeepers, shaping reality for millions, often in ways we don't fully grasp.
Which leads us right up to now, the AI network. This feels like the most critical part of Nexus.
It's certainly the most urgent and maybe speculative.
You mentioned that quote earlier, Harari saying, for the first time in history, information networks may exist without humans at the center. That's unsettling.
It is. Because AI isn't just a tool within the network anymore, like a printing press or a radio tower.
It's becoming a node, an active part.
Potentially an autonomous one. AI systems are starting to make decisions, make predictions, even create content within the network. They're not just relaying human information, they're generating their own.
And that leads to things like personalized news feeds.
Right, which Harari calls truth bubbles, where my AI-curated reality might be completely different from yours, based on what the algorithm thinks I want or what someone wants me to think.
Making it hard to agree on basic facts.
Exactly. And he even speculates about, well, post-human intelligence hierarchies. What happens if AI becomes vastly more intelligent or influential within these networks than humans are?
Chilling stuff. Okay, so stepping back from the timeline, what are the really deep insights Harari draws from this whole history? What are the big takeaways?
One theme that runs through the whole book is about power.
How so?
Harari argues again and again that whoever controls the information networks essentially controls society.
Give me an example.
Well, think back. The Catholic Church controlled the official truth for centuries in Europe through its control of scripture, interpretation, and literacy. That was immense power.
Okay.
Now, fast forward. Today, who shakes narratives for millions? Maybe it's a handful of social media platforms, maybe it's influential YouTubers, maybe it's state-sponsored news agencies.
Right. Or maybe soon, it's AI chatbots generating answers we take as fact.
Precisely. The locus of power shifts as the network technology shifts. Who gets to define reality? That's the core question.
And what about on a more personal, philosophical level? The impact on us as individuals, our consciousness.
Yeah, he goes there too. It gets pretty deep, he asks. What happens to our sense of self when an algorithm can predict our choices? Maybe even understand our feelings better than we do ourselves.
That quote you mentioned earlier.
Right. When an algorithm knows you better than you know yourself, the illusion of self dissolves. It's a provocative thought.
It really is. Does the idea of me, my unique inner world, start to fade if it's perfectly replicable or predictable by an external system?
That's the question he puts on the table. And it leads to huge ethical dilemmas. Should AI curate truth? Do we risk losing our agency, our free will, if algorithms are constantly nudging us?
He doesn't necessarily offer easy answers, I guess.
Not easy answers, no. More like urgent questions we need to grapple with now.
Okay, one more big theme. Social cohesion. You touched on myths earlier. How do networks and shared beliefs hold societies together? Or maybe tear them apart now?
Harari emphasizes that large-scale cooperation depends on shared beliefs. Things we collectively agree are real or important, even if they're abstract.
Like money, or laws, or national identity.
Or religion, or even ideologies like capitalism or communism, or, Bitcoin, as he mentions. These shared stories, these myths, are the glue holding the network together.
But what's the danger now, in the age of AI and filter bubbles?
The danger is fragmentation. If AI creates millions of personalized truths and we no longer share a common baseline of facts or narratives,
then the glue dissolves.
Potentially. Social cohesion could seriously erode. If my network tells me one thing is true and yours tells you the complete opposite, how do we even have a conversation, let alone run a democracy?
It feels like we're already seeing glimpses of that.
Harari would argue we definitely are. And AI could amplify it dramatically.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot to chew on from the book's core ideas. Let's maybe pivot slightly and look at Nexus as a book itself. What are its real strengths? Why has it resonated?
Well, first off, it's incredibly ambitious and cross-disciplinary. He pulls together history, tech, anthropology, philosophy, It's a massive synthesis.
It's kind of Harari's trademark, right?
It is, and he does it with a very engaging, clear writing style. It's often quite poetic, actually, making complex ideas feel accessible.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
Definitely. And I think its unique strength is connecting these vast historical patterns, like the invention of writing, directly to our dilemmas today with AI and social media. It makes history feel incredibly relevant.
And you mentioned he focuses on systems.
Yes, that's another strength. It moves away from the great man theory of history, history being driven just by kings or inventors. Instead, he focuses on these larger information systems and how they shape possibilities for everyone.
Okay, so brilliant synthesis, engaging style, relevant connections, systems focus. But no book is perfect. What are some of the criticisms leveled against Nexus?
One common critique is, perhaps inevitably given the scope, oversimplification.
Meaning?
Some historians or specialists argue that in creating these broad, neat narratives spanning millennia, he sometimes flattens the nuances. Complex events or systems get boiled down, maybe sometimes too much.
Especially regarding non-Western contexts.
That's part of it, yes. Some critics feel that non-Western information networks, while mentioned, aren't explored with quite the same depth or detail as, say, the European print revolution or Western digital developments. The focus can feel a bit Eurocentric at times.
Okay, that's fair. What about the AI stuff at the end, the future predictions?
That's another area. The final chapters are quite speculative. While they're definitely thought-provoking and raise critical questions.
They're not based on hard data yet.
Exactly. Some argue it leans more towards philosophical warning than rigorous prediction. He perhaps doesn't engage as deeply with competing viewpoints on AI's trajectory or potential benefits. It can feel a bit dystopian to some readers.
So a bit speculative, potentially simplifies, maybe could be more culturally diverse in its focus. Useful criticisms to keep in mind.
Definitely. It encourages critical reading, which is always good.
So putting it all together, the ideas, the strengths, the criticisms, who is this deep dive? And really the book Nexus itself, for who should pick this up or pay attention to these ideas?
Well, if you're a thinker, someone interested in big ideas, or maybe a futurist or working in tech, this book offers a really valuable long-term perspective.
It gives you a framework.
A huge framework, yes. If you liked Sapiens or Homo Deus, this is essential reading. It feels like the next logical step in his thinking.
What about students? Or just concerned citizens?
Absolutely. Students of history, philosophy, media studies, AI ethics. It connects all those dots.
Yeah.
And really, anyone who's concerned about the future of democracy, the nature of truth in the digital age, or just what it means to be human as AI evolves.
This book speaks directly to those concerns.
It really does. It tackles the big questions about where we are and where we might be heading.
So wrapping up, Nexus sounds like a really significant book. Maybe not flawless, as we discussed, but important.
I think that's fair. It's ambitious, provocative. It forces you to zoom out and see this invisible architecture, these information networks that fundamentally shape our world.
Provides a crucial context for understanding what's happening right now with AI integration.
Exactly. It helps frame what's truly at stake.
And Harari leaves us with a pretty stark final thought, doesn't he?
He does. It really sticks with you. He concludes by saying, essentially, the future will not be written by individuals, but by networks, and we must decide now who controls them and for what ends.
Wow. Who controls the networks and for what ends? That leaves you, the listener, with a lot to think about.
Yeah.
How do we participate in shaping those networks consciously and ethically for the future?
That's the challenge Harari puts before us. We really hope this deep dive into Nexus gave you some valuable new perspective, maybe sparked some ideas, plenty to think about. If you found this discussion helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you take a second to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back soon with another deep dive. Thanks for joining us.